This is the Pechanga Resort Casino. Within this video, you will learn the history and culture of the Pechanga people, and hear my personal experiences and thoughts from my visit. So, let's get to it. The casino is located in Temecula, California, in Riverside County. It is about 90 miles from Los Angeles, 60 miles from San Diego, and 65 miles from my hometown of Orange, California. This was my third time visiting this casino, yet my first time parking in this structure. Yeah, the first time I realized that this structure existed was when I was reviewing the drone video from my last visit to the Pechanga. Appropriately enough, it was also my first time entering from this side of the casino. And apparently, this casino is pretty family friendly, seeing the family there posing for pictures outside that nice Christmas tree. The last time I featured the Pechanga in a video was at the end of my Julian video, so this time I definitely wanted to do it justice and give it a whole video. And here we are. This old footage of mine shows that the Pechanga did not have all the cool decorations that I got to see on this visit. And you can see the COVID face coverings too. As is my tradition, I came for Christmas decorations. And there's the AAA 4 Diamond Great Oaks Steakhouse. And I saw that they had New Year's decorations as well. And another tradition of mine, going to the cafe and getting a blended mocha. Oh yeah. I've said it before and I will say it again. Everything is better at Christmas. Most things are better at Christmas, and Indian casinos are no exception. Well, stating the obvious is one of my specialties, so here goes. I seriously just love Christmas decorations, and I just need to preserve these in this video. In fact, I will argue that these are the best Christmas decorations of any Indian casino that I have been to. The closest rival being the Yamava Resort Casino's Christmas decorations. But yeah, let's just take these in for just, I don't know, a bit more seconds before we have to cut on to the next segment. The following presentation uses information from the Pechanga Band of Indians official website. Temecula Valley. The original people of the valley, now known as Luiseño Indians, inhabited the Temecula region for thousands of years. Evidence of their villages survives throughout the valley in the form of bedrock mortars, stone tools, pottery, and rock art. The traditional tribal boundaries extend across Riverside and San Diego counties. This is their history, which shares much in common with the greater history of California and other California tribes. 1769, Father Junipero Serra establishes Mission San Diego, the first mission in Alta California. 1776, Mission San Juan Capistrano is established, and many indigenous people from the region are taken there. 1797, Spanish missionaries come through the Temecula Valley looking for more sites for future missions. 1798, Mission San Luis Rey is established in Luceño territory. 1816, Mission San Antonio de Paula, a local asistencia under the jurisdiction of Mission San Luis Rey, is built. 1821, Mexico declares independence from Spain, and California becomes Mexican territory. 1833 to 1834, the Mexican government secularizes the missions. 1846 to 1848, the Mexican-American War is fought. Between 1846 and 1847, during the Mexican-American War, the Temecula Massacre, a combined force of California militia and Coahuila Indians attacked and killed an estimated 33 to 40 Luceño Indians in retaliation for the Palma Massacre, where Luceño warriors had killed 11 California Lancers. 1848, California is part of the territory granted to the U.S. by the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. 1848, gold is discovered in Sutter's Mill in Northern California. While the Temecula Valley was a long way from the gold mining fields, prospectors on their way to the gold fields passing through the Temecula Valley led to new farms and ranches springing up. This pushed the Temecula Indians to the edges of their land, cutting them off from water, food, and religious sites. 1850, California becomes a state. This led to an Act for the Governance and Protection of Indians in 1850. The Act and its 1860s amendments permitted American citizens to have the care, custody, control, and earnings of such minors until he or she obtained the age of majority. The later amendments allowed adult Indians to be indentured in the same way. The Act of 1850 was meant to keep homeless Indians off the street, but it was used as a system of enslavement. 1852, the Treaty of Temecula, one of 18 unratified treaties signed by representatives of nearly 200 California tribes throughout the state. The U.S. Senate refused to ratify any of these treaties, and the documents were considered lost until 1905. 1858, the first butter-filled overland stagecoach arrived in Temecula. By the way, that was a mail service. 1859, the first post office opened in Temecula Valley. Temecula was officially a city. 1875, the eviction of Temecula Indians. A group of Temecula Valley ranchers petitioned the courts for permission to evict the Temecula Indians from their villages. A judge agreed to this eviction, ignoring the fact that the Indians had lived there for generations under a Mexican land grant. An armed posse formed, assisted by a San Diego sheriff. The posse members loaded the contents of each home into wagons and dumped everything about 3 miles to the south. The Indians had to follow the wagons on foot, and they were insulted and had rocks thrown at them. One particular hardship: many of their livestock wandered back to the original villages they once had lived. Many Indians lost their livestock because they could not afford to pay for their recapture. 1882, the first train stops in Temecula. Also in 1882, the Pechanga Reservation is established by executive order on June 27th. President Chester A. Arthur signed the executive order. 1891, the allotment of family-owned land plots begins on the Pechanga Reservation. 1907, the Kelsey Tract adds to the Pechanga Reservation to create additional farmland for the people. 1914 to 1918, World War I. Many young men from the Temecula Valley were soldiers in World War I. Their numbers included a significant percentage of Native American men. Many of these Native Americans were not recognized as American citizens at the time of their service. After the war, most Native soldiers and sailors were granted citizenship in recognition of their service. 1919. The Mission Indian Federation is founded, the first Native American civil rights group founded by Southern California Indians. The primary goals: freedom from the Bureau of Indian Affairs and full citizenship for all Native Americans. 1924, the Indian Citizenship Act is passed. However, the law did not apply to all Indians equally. In California, Indians who lived on reservations were still considered wards of the state and were subject to the Bureau of Indian Affairs for several more decades. 1953 to 1964, Indian termination policy effectively forced assimilation of over 100 formerly recognized Native American tribes by closing their reservations and cutting them off from federal government services. The Temecula Valley was not selected for termination, but it was a very unstable time. The 1970s. The Pechanga Senior Center and the first Tribal Government Center are built. 1978. The Indian Child and Welfare Act and the American Indian Religious Freedom Act are both passed. 1988. The Indian Gaming Regulatory Act is passed. 1990. The Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act is passed. 1995. The first Pechanga Casino is built. 1998. Proposition 5 passed, the Tribal Government Gaming and Economic Self-Sufficiency Act. It allowed tribes to make agreements with states to operate casino-style gaming. Then, Prop A amended California law to allow Indians to operate casino-style gaming in the state of California. 2003. The Great Oak Ranch property is purchased, giving them control of a sacred cultural site. More on this later. And in 2012, Pechanga purchased Puesca Mountain, another sacred historical site. And more on this later as well. And here we are, back at the present-day Pechanga Resort Casino. As I already said, the original Pechanga Casino opened in 1995. The current Pechanga Resort Casino, the one we are standing in right now, opened in 2002, and it is one of the largest casino resorts in the United States. It has 200,000 square feet of gaming space. It is a AAA 4-Diamond award-winning property, and according to the website, it won the AAA 4-Diamond Award every year since it opened in 2002. USA Today readers have also named it the best casino in the USA and the best casino in the West. The 14-story hotel has 1,100 rooms and suites, a luxury 2-level 25,000 square foot spa, the Cove, which is a pool complex, nearly the size of 5 football fields, and 275,000 square feet of indoor and outdoor event and meeting space. 12 restaurants, a 1,200 seat theater, a 3,000 seat event center, and an 18-hole championship golf course. Come on, Pechanga, where's the theme park? I really wish I could add a theme park to this list. Please give us a theme park next. But still, all in all, an impressive casino. The Great Oak Tree. For the Pechanga, it transcends the physical. It symbolizes strength, wisdom, longevity, and determination. It is recognized as the largest naturally grown indigenous coastal live oak in the western United States. The trunk is over 20 feet in circumference. They claim it is over 1,000 years old. It is located in an area once known as the Great Oak Ranch outside the reservation. But in 2001, the tribe purchased the ranch, and in 2003, the ranch property was officially added to the reservation. It continues to produce acorns, one of their staple foods, and the tree has many children, so to speak, planted throughout Pechanga land. Poesca Mountain, where the first burial took place in Pechanga history. Poesca means the mountain that weeps, where the rocks are weeping. In summer, spring water seeps out of the earth and runs along the face of the mountain. It is also a major site in their creation story, and it is considered their most sacred site. There was an epic battle between a granite company that wanted to set up a quarry site for mining that would have desecrated and destroyed the sacred mountain. The short story is Pechanga bought the mountain to protect it. But for the long story, you should watch the documentary, The Mountain That Weeps. And in 2015, the mountain was put into trust by the federal government. I have to say once more, that documentary, The Mountain That Weeps, was really good. Basketry. As I have said before, Pechanga baskets, like other baskets of surrounding tribes, are recognized worldwide for their quality. They are renowned for their light weave, beautiful textures, and intricate designs. These baskets often illustrate stories both mysterious and significant. But recently, basket weavers have found challenges gathering basket materials, as most gathering sites have been lost. Hence the importance of native plant management and sustainability. Materials such as yucca fibers are often used to start a basket. Red willow is the primary material for large granary baskets. And then there are yuncus, sumac, and deergrass. And well, there is plenty more to read online and in books. Animals. Some notable animals found on Pechanga land include the bighorn sheep, the golden eagle, the pronghorn antelope, the red-tailed hawk, the western pond turtle, and even mule deer. Honestly, these are just some of my favorites. Traditional houses. Today, all Pechanga people live in apartments or modern houses, but before the arrival of the Spanish, their people lived in quiche. Quiche were mainly used for sleeping and shelter from bad weather. All other daily activities were done outside. All houses were usually domes or cone-shaped, and they were lined with furs or skins to keep wind and water out. The floors were covered with mats made of yuncus or tule reeds. Doors were made of animal hides or reed mats. Quiche were repaired as needed, and a well-maintained quiche could last for many years. When they got too old or too damaged to fix, they would be burned and a new house would be built. It usually took a few days to build. They came in 3 varieties: willow, cedar bark, and tule. Food. Plant food. Acorns, black sage, cattail, chia, elderberry, hollyleaf cherry, mint, pine nuts, prickly pear, cactus, white sage, wild onion, yucca, and seaweed. Animal food. Abalone, antelope, bighorn sheep, deer, ducks, geese, squirrels, lobster, rabbits, trout. Many plant foods needed special processing to be edible. Some plants would be consumed fresh or raw. Some foods would be sun-dried, a parching process in which foods were tossed in a shallow basket with hot pebbles. And some foods were boiled or fried. Boiling was done in watertight baskets with hot stones, and frying was done with large flat stones that were heated with fire. Meat preparation. Sometimes it was dried, cut into thin strips, salted, pounded thinner, and left in the sun for several days. Sometimes it was roasted or fried. Meat usually roasted over an open fire. Small things would be roasted in a basket with hot pebbles, frying on large flat stones. Sometimes meat would be boiled. Rattles. Drums were never used by Luiseño Indians. Instead, rattles provided the beat, and they directed dancers and singers. They are considered very personal and profound. Some rattles are used in ceremonies around death, others to celebrate life or in healing ceremonies. Rattles are passed down through families and come with special rules requiring care. Sometimes rattles are burned or buried. There are different types: deer hoof, turtle shell, cocoon, and gourd. Plants. Very important to the Pechanga. Used for food, shelter, clothing, tools, and medicine. Here are just some of the plants that stand out to me: agave, chia, black oak, manzanita, cottonwood, white sage, black walnut, tobacco, wild onion, and yucca. Minerals. They were mostly used for tools, but some were used for food preservation and for nutritional enrichment. Here are just some that stood out to me: obsidian, limestone, clay, iron, red ochre, granite, quartz, pumice, salt. And then there was this display of an authentic bow and a quiver with arrows, and a rabbit stick used for hunting rabbits and other small game, and finally a yucca fiber skirt. And well, that's enough culture. Let's get back to my own experiences. I thought that this lobby was cool, but I would soon discover the second floor with quiet areas to lounge and relax. Check it out. It's really cool how the Pechanga have their artifacts and different artworks on display in various areas around the casino and the hotel, both indoors and outdoors. You know, I really loved the decorations by the escalator. This trip was marked by many firsts, like this glimpse into a meeting room. Then I saw Journey's End for the first time, which has a golf pro shop and a restaurant. This is where they hold their brunch buffet that is very high on my to-do list. Clearly, it didn't work out this visit. that is the Journey's End fancy entrance. I also saw their spa building for the first time. Hey, it's night. So I actually went to another casino on this day. Look forward to that video, hopefully by the end of the year. Meanwhile, I came back to take in the atmosphere at nighttime. And then I discovered that I could get to this second floor level, which I had all to myself. This trip was actually after Christmas but before New Year's, hence getting the best of both kinds of decorations. And this was my first time flying the drone over this side of the casino. At the end of my visit, of course, I had to go to the Pechanga service station for some more spiritually roof-raising vibes. And, well, you know, subscribe and hit the thumbs up in the spirit of self-reliance.